David all. Welcome back to DomeNation. It's raining outside, so we're at our rain location, Ebenezer's Coffee House.
I'm Jerome Armstrong. These are our guests we have today from AMERICAblog, Joe Sudbay, John Aravosis. Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So you guys have been blogging on AMERICAblog since 2004, and it's 3 years later now. How has the trend shifted in terms of your blogging and the reception that you have from different audiences?
I think we've gotten better reception from the politicos in town. I mean, in the sense that certainly, well, okay, when you first start blogging, you don't have an audience anyway, so no one pays attention to you. You get 100 people a day. Right. Now that our traffic's gotten significant over the last couple of years, obviously, there's been way more outreach, I think, from the House, from the Senate side. PR firms in town, you hear a lot more from them too. In a more general way, I think the change has just been, they've gone from not really caring about what you say to being somewhat fearful of what you say, to now people in town wanting to sort of reach out and figure out how to work with the blogs more or get their content on the blogs.
Right. I think there's a lot more legitimacy. A couple of years ago, people used to be almost dismissive of the blogs, particularly in Washington. I think we always had a much better reception outside of DC. Our audience was outside of DC. I think that changed over the past couple of years too. You've seen the institutions in Washington and kind of the traditional kind of consulting class and others start taking notice that this is something that makes a difference. The blogosphere matters.
Were you guys on that call the other day with Senator Reid?
Yeah.
You were on that, so he talked with the blogs. Was that on the record or off the record?
It was on the record. Basically, he did a conference call with a number of blogs, just talking about kind of where we are, latest.
I noticed there was I think it was in the Washington Post the day after where he had spoke about talking with little bloggers.
Yeah, it was in an AP story, which I was kind of surprised. I mean, it was on the record, but not like...
Funny, I didn't hear about it.
Invited to. Well, we sure actually
Senator
two
Reid,
of the digits were wrong. That happens to you in viruses.
Senator Reid,
My number was wrong, I'm sorry.
Senator Reid from the beginning has engaged the blogosphere really early on. He was one of the first.
A good 2 years ago, maybe, or more.
A couple of years ago, he started doing conference calls with bloggers.
Actually, right after he got the leadership position, because I remember when he first got it, people were a little nervous about whether he was too conservative.
Right.
And he did a call within a month, and we left the call going, the guy's not bad.
Right.
So, I mean, which was smart, though, because right away he got something out of doing the outreach.
Right, that's true.
But yeah, and then Pelosi's office shortly thereafter, so they've been good.
So I have, I represent the conservative side. Have any Republicans ever contacted you, even email, maybe upset with something you're writing?
The White House.
The White House?
That was it. Honestly,
When you guys
very
wanted press
strange.
credentials or what?
No, I didn't want to do the press credential route just because, long story, but it was the White House. I'd written about Bush flipping the finger to reporters when he was walking into Congress, and somebody from the White House called, and they were concerned because they didn't think that Bush really flipped the finger and wanted to give me their side of the story. So I said, sure, I'll write about it, because I'm happy to write that the White House called me because they were upset about something on my blog.
Right.
But that was it. You really don't. We don't hear from the interesting thing is you don't hear from Republicans as far as people that are on your side on an issue that say, hey, can we work with you either? And that's different than at least my experience working in town. I mean, I've been in town 20 years. You've been 15 probably or something? Or,
Yeah, 15.
I'm used to working with Republicans on issues that we agree with, whether we do it publicly or privately.
Right.
We sort of call each other and go, hey, I'm on the same side. What can we work out here? In bloggy land, I haven't experienced that yet. But then again, it's only been recently that even the Democrats have been reaching out to us as stridently. So maybe that's to come.
You must come. I mean, the experience I have oftentimes is like people either view they understand that the blogs, I'm talking about as a Democrat, as part of their allies, or sometimes you still run into the perception that they're like press organs.
Yeah, I think that's a lot. A lot of times, we've been to the Hill several times to give presentations, and the first rule we always tell people is don't just send press releases. No sooner get back home and we'll have 30 press releases. Because I think a lot of people just view it still as only a way to get their message out without realizing a way, even trying to engage us or trying to build a community or trying to be part of the community. I still think that exists, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, I mean, I used to do a lot of outreach and training other...
Don't say the lobby word.
Training, Republican operatives how to reach out with conservative bloggers. I obviously made a lot of mistakes myself, so then I taught people best practices.
Right.
But a lot of people, I think you're right, as staffers, we just added them to our list.
Right.
But the big difference as bloggers that we know is that we don't care about their agenda. We don't care about what they care about. If it fits into something, maybe. I mean, what do you think?
And you do care to some degree. I mean, I think it's best described, or maybe, is that you're part political partisan, you're part press, or you're part partisan press, is even a better way of putting it, and you're part sort of national nonprofit advocacy group. So that, I mean, on our side, you're a little bit of the ACLU, but you're also a little bit of the nation, and you're a little bit of independent activist, and also somewhat independent reporter too, in that we sometimes don't care what they think, but sometimes we do, because we're still partisans. And I think on the right it would be the same thing. You know, if you're criticizing Bill Frist, or Bill Frist before, you know, McConnell now, and you're on the right, you might be a little more careful than if you're criticizing Harry Reid. You know, and the same thing on the left. I think you're still part of some larger movement. Although I think there may be even a debate on that, because I've seen discussions online of on the left certainly, of people not being sure, are they sort of Democratic partisans or are they progressive partisans?
Yeah,
You know,
what's
and
the party? And then you
so
have
it depends on
your
each
audience
person.
too. I mean, who you guys took that profile of blog ads and trying to figure out like who are the people that are actually reading these blogs? Who are they? Do we know it all?
Well, I think the most interesting statistic that people are always surprised by is the average age of our readers is about 46.
Yeah.
It's my age. Most people, I think, you know, people in Washington, and a lot of people who've been dismissive of the blogosphere tend to think it's a bunch of 22-year-olds. It's not. It's a very
Not there's anything wrong with
Not there's anything wrong with
Yes.
it. It's a very highly educated, you know, a lot of our people, a very high percentage of
Decently
college degrees,
affluent.
well off, very active politically.
Yeah, well, and there's clearly a large inside the Beltway crowd, I think, for the political bloggers, clearly.
Right.
But I think we're still trying to figure it out in terms of, I don't know. We've got the data, but I'm still trying to get a little bit of a sense of really who the people are. And I think part of it is that you get, like a lot of the blogs on the left, at least, right, it depends, have comments. You know, like you can write a little comment on my blog or whatever, anybody coming there. And also, we still aren't sure how much the comments represent the readers at large, or whether the commenters are a very small percentage, and maybe they're representative of the activists. I don't know. It's a very we have a lot of data, but we're still, I think, trying to figure out across the board who this movement is.
A couple of the things that are going around today, even in my email inbox, Joe Trippi is doing his pecan pie push. His viral video, he's calling it. And also Hillary Clinton is doing something, reaching out to her community for more themes.
Your campaign song?
Not voted
Yeah,
for the
I did not vote for the
campaign
campaign song.
You're not push polling it?
I had some ideas, but I don't think they would be accepted.
Right. I think that both of those are probably not the best examples of outreach to the Netroots from the campaigns.
If you guys could, you guys are all kind of senior in the Netroots movement, if there's such a thing, and if we can say that and use those terms. But, you guys have a lot of readers, a lot of people look at you guys all as feeder blogs and stuff. Do you guys want to give any shout outs to maybe a couple of up and coming bloggers, people throughout the nation that you guys read every day because they're saying neat things, but maybe they're still at that 100 person, 100 readership?
I think there are some that are up and coming. We read Pam's House Blend all the time. She's the leading lesbian blogger in the country.
Right, so she's not up and coming in the gay world, but she's up and coming in sort of the national political world, because it's still focused at a smaller group.
I'm biased towards a couple of bloggers I work with up in Maine. Chris Acorn's got My 2 Cents, and Kay in Maine has White Noise Insanity. They're both very active in AmericaBlog, and Chris has done some great work dogging Glenn Beck, and it's been fun to watch the growth of the.
Yeah.
I like the state blogs. I'm biased towards what happens in the real world. So
That's been a really neat evolution on our side, and I don't think that that's much representative on the right side yet of that the local blogosphere within the states developing. And so Joe knows, because you got Maine roots, the Maine blogosphere, and I happen to pay attention to a couple states where I've had races or whatnot. And when you really get into it, you see it's really the same dynamics that we had nationally, from 2003, 2004 coming up, the blogosphere that are happening within the states now.
It's exciting too, and I think the important thing is all politics is local, and you're starting to see that the politicians from each state aren't just reaching out to us; they're starting to reach out to that level, which is really going to help them grow too.
It's great.
Great. Well, John Aravosis and Joe Sudbay of AmericaBlog, AmericaBlog.com. Thanks a lot for coming to Ebenezer's. Enjoy the coffee. And with that,
So remember, Nation,
it's your dome.